Hello and welcome to the Discover History YouTube channel, and today we are continuing with our preparations for VE Day, because as you all know, on Friday we are coming together to celebrate VE Day. I say coming together, we're going to be celebrating in our own homes. Probably the best and safest thing to do at the moment, and trust me, we all need a good party. So Friday I'm preparing for a VE Day party, and hopefully you are too. On Monday we looked at decorating the home, so hopefully you're doing well making your red, white and blue paper chains, making your little streamers and so on. Tuesday we had a look at hats, and hopefully you've made a selection of hats to wear to sit there and having your party on Friday. And today we thought we'll decorate ourselves. Let's make ourselves look patriotic. Well, to start with, you can actually go out there, and if you have got long hair, for example, maybe use red and white ribbons to tie in your hair. You could always get some red, white and blue ribbons and tie them to a buttonhole or something like that. The choice is yours, but decorate yourselves as much as you decorate your house. But the best thing you can make also is a rosette. So on today's programme we're looking at making a paper rosette. So what do you need for that? Well, to start with, you could do with some sellotape. That's going to be important for the final details of your badge. You also need some safety pins. That's going to be very important for connecting it to yourself. We also need some glue, a pen for writing any slogans that you wish to do, some colouring pens or pencils, red and blue. Once again, we're keeping with this theme. If you've got white paper, that's the white part of our nation's colours, and then we've got red and blue, so red, white and blue. You also require some scissors and obviously paper. Once again, you don't need to use the best A4 photocopying paper. You can use a bit of scrap paper. That's what we're using. Recycled. That's exactly what people were doing 75 years ago. What you have to remember is the run up to VE Day. So, for example, the end of April, people weren't really expecting the war to end next week, the week after, or whatever. People really didn't know. Even the soldiers at the front, like the Worcestershire Regiment, or even the Yeomanry, which at the time was known as the 53rd Light Air Landing Regiment Royal Artillery, they didn't really know. No one actually knew. So you have to remember, this is all last minute. It was last minute in 1945, and therefore let's make it look last minute now. So let's have recycled paper, recycled packaging being used. Let's see the newspapers being used for hats, for example, exactly as it was 75 years ago. So first of all, you need to take your paper and find 3 round objects in your home. They could be something as small as, for example, a cotton reel, a jam jar, and maybe even a cake tin. You just need 3 different sizes. You don't want them too big, obviously, but you need 3 sizes, so one smaller than the other. And all you do is you take your piece of paper, place these objects on it, draw around them. Once you've drawn around them, colour them in. And here we have one done earlier. So there's my scrap of paper. I've drawn around 3 circular objects, all slightly smaller than the other. And this time I've coloured them in the patriotic colours of red and blue, obviously keeping the one white, red, white and blue. Then we need to cut them out. So you need to cut out your circles. So you should end up with 3 coloured discs. And instead of wasting the paper of the edge, why don't you colour a strip red and a strip blue, and then also cut out 3 strips. So you should end up with 3 circles, red, white and blue, and 3 ribbons, red, white and blue. Now the next part is to put these together to make our rosette. So the best thing to do is, in my case, red is the larger circle of the lot. I take a bit of glue and I pop the glue right in the middle of our rosette paper. Bit of glue in the middle. I'm then going to take my white disc and I'm going to stick that in the middle. So I've now got a red background with a white centre, and then I take the blue disc and I add that in the centre, and if you want to, write a slogan on it using your pen. I have. So I've put in the middle of the blue disc, the middle disc, the last one that I put on, VE Day. You can put whatever you want in there. If you want to put thank you in it, you can. Or if you want to put peace in it, or just the year 1945, or the date, May the 8th, 1945, the choice is yours. So what you want to do is make sure you've put them in each other. So we've got red, white and blue, and there's some writing in the centre. Now, what you then need to do is, using your strips, cut them down a little bit because you don't need them that big, and you do the same sort of thing. So we're going to do, for example, blue, a white and a red, or red, white and blue, however you want to put it, and then we put some glue in the middle, and then that can then be glued on the back to the bottom. So you should end up with something like that. Now you can finish it off with some extra details, and there's two ways of doing that. You could, if you wanted to, cut a little triangle into the bottom of the ribbon. So you've therefore got it cut out like that. Or if you wanted to, you can cut lots of little lines very carefully, and remember, get a parent to help you if you can't do this. So it then has a little frilly bottom instead of a cutout bottom, or you could just leave it as it is. So you should now have a rosette, red, white and blue, with a ribbon at the bottom. I've also cut lots of little lines all the way around the outside just to give it a look of a rosette. So that is our little rosette, but how are you going to wear it? The simple thing is, we take our safety pin that we got out at the very start, take a small amount of sellotape, sticky tape, and then place the sellotape on the safety pin. So you should end up having something like that. Then all you need to do is take your badge, go to the back of the badge, and then sellotape the safety pin on. So it now sits in the middle like that, and therefore, as well as putting ribbons in your hair, or maybe taking red, white and blue streamers and adding to a buttonhole or anything like that, you can now attach a rosette. So not only is your house fully decorated for VE Day, not only are you wearing a fine hat to show that you're in a party mood for Friday, you can now have a rosette to show everyone that you are celebrating VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, on May the 8th, 2020. Remember, this happened 75 years ago, so May the 8th, 1945. If you don't want to do red, white and blue, if you want to draw Winston Churchill in the middle, you can do that. If you want to put another nation's badge in there, you can do that. I've just chosen red, white and blue because it's our traditional colours of the United Kingdom, or Great Britain as you want to call it. Remember, if you're doing a Union flag, it's called a Union flag, and I will say it again, it's only called a Union Jack when it's on the jack staff of a ship. Anyway, tomorrow, Thursday, and also on Friday, we're going to be looking at food. We have a couple of recipes for you to do, and that is all in readiness for the party on Friday. Remember, only have a party at your home, in your garden or in your house if the weather's bad. Don't start visiting people. Remember, stay in, stay safe. Anyway, see you tomorrow with food recipes for Friday, and we'll look forward to seeing your photos and anything else that you want to come back with us with some feedback. See you soon. Bye bye.